complaints relates to customers who are not maintaining their accounts. Well, out of 13, 2 may or may not be as a result of the resident. Now, this municipality didn't start yesterday. This entity, as we know it now, started in 2000, which is 24 years ago. In that time, it's accumulated outstanding debt, as my colleague has just, Councillor McPherson, indicated, of 34 billion, and of that, probably about, I think, 6 or 8 billion accumulated in the last 24 months. But we're sitting here with a situation where we're now lauding the department to say they've come up with this plan in 24 years, which makes one to wonder, the people who are employed at these departments, like the Sisakala Center, within the service departments, what are they getting paid for? Because surely if my account has got a problem and I come there, they're supposed to be resolving it so that the municipality can recover what is legally due to it. Now we have to bring in a special plan which says we're going to go out to wards, we're going to do an education program. Why does it take all of 34 billion rand before we start doing it? Because every morning people arrive at work, and when the customer comes there, that's what they're supposed to do. Surely there is everybody's got a job description, and within this job description, there's expectations. But we're sitting with residents that are now in a position where we've brought in debt relief programs, and one thing is we're glad that this is actually on the table, because that was part of the recommendation that was altered by us on the 30th of September to say, while we're extending the program to the end of December, we also have to put programs in place to address. But we also warned that it's probably going to take about a month before anything's put on table. And quite rightly so, because we are a month later and we're only going to be noting these now, and December is quite close. Hence the fact that we asked that we should have extended that to February, because we're only implementing now with dates ranging to March next year to resolve problems that we should have resolved when they came. Because some people are sitting with these debts for 2-3 years, they've been disconnected, they have to enter into payment plans with the municipality, and again remind, of the 13, only 2 may fall to the resident. The others is failure by the municipality. So as much as we note this, we also ask that we actually start, or not us, that those who are paid and employed to do a job actually do what the municipality employs them to do, which is resolve when there's a query, go out, confirm, and if they do, and they meaning the residents, if they do submit their meter readings with a platform that is so created, and they take the time, please audit it so that the people pay what is due, because this also distorts our expected income and our expected outstandings, because by adjusting it all the time, you are getting distorted figure of what you're actually expecting to come in and what you're going to pay. So we will note this today, and we will be very cleanly keeping a close eye to see whether people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, what they're getting paid to do in the interest of the residents out there. Because it's very, very disturbing when a granny phones you at 6 o'clock in the morning, having just opened the post, she's got a little pension, and suddenly she's saddled with an 80,000 rand account, and all they say to her is, pay now, we'll resolve it later. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Nada, ANC.
Angibonge Speaker Ithuba. Thank you very much for the speakers that have spoken before me, but let me end this on a high note. The Council of eThekwini continues to receive complaints and objections from customers on high bills stemming from the current billing system. Some of the factors that have resulted in high bills include, amongst others, unidentified water leaks, poor management of indigent processes, tampering with infrastructure, and prolonged water estimations without actual readings. To address these challenges, We have instructed the Office of the DCM Finance to develop a strategy to deal with high bills. We are happy to report that this strategy has been developed and processed through the Finance Portfolio Committee and EXCO. The plan contains the mitigating strategies that deals with alternative dispute resolution mechanism, unread meters, water leaks, introduction to modernized delivery of billing statements, embark on an intensive educational campaign to create community awareness about the importance of paying for services. Additionally, the Finance Portfolio Committee had recommended to the DCM Finance to revisit the debt reduction strategy. The revised strategy was then presented to the Finance Portfolio Committee and is currently being implemented by Revenue Management. The strategy includes disconnections for tampering with municipal infrastructure and outstanding debt. We are also embarking on the Know Your Customer KYC campaign to provide an on-site support to our customers. As a result of the debt reduction strategy, we have witnessed an increase in our monthly collections as follows. In July, it was 3.5 billion. August, 4 billion. September, it went down to 3 billion. But all in all, we've collected about 10.6 billion. As a result of the debt strategies employed for the quarter ending September 2024, a collection rate of 99% was achieved against the targeted 95%. I thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Councillor Nala. Councillors, all the recommendations noted. Dr. Mngoni, next item.
The next item is item 3.5, progress report on the transfer of meter reading functions from trading services to revenue management, September 2024. The report is here for noting. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mngoni. I've got speakers on this item. The first speaker is Councillor Anipen with 3 minutes, donated by Mosa G.A. Al-Jamar. The second speaker is Councillor Berthe from the Democratic Alliance. The last speaker is Councillor Chole from the ANC. Councillor Anipen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I promise to be brief. Notwithstanding the fact that National Treasury has a directive that the functioning of meter reading should perhaps stay with trading services, the IFP is glad to see that initiatives and action is being taken to enforce the council resolution to migrate meter reading and that function to revenue. We encourage customers to use the online platform to report their reading, and this will ensure estimated charges, inflated charges, bloated charges. A welcomed analysis is the comparison between other metros. It also helps us to benchmark where we are, and perhaps this will also inspire us to continue to work towards getting the readings done in a more excellent and intelligent fashion. We hope to see the shortcomings that are recommended in the report addressed, because if we can identify them, then naturally we'll find solutions for them. And again, we thank officials for taking this report seriously, or the recommendation seriously. And like we said in the previous council meeting, it is welcoming to note that the mayor was able to do in his inaugural meeting of the Finance Committee what his predecessors were unable to do in about 10 years. So we thank you and we note the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Berthe.
Thank you very much, Chair. I could have done it all in one just now, but I wanted to take a little bit of a break so that I can come back. But I'm here. This is another one. And this one is not 24 years old, but this is 50 months old, because this very council on the 23rd of August 2020, which is 50 months ago, already made a decision to implement this. Already made a decision to transfer it from the one department to the other. It's taken us 50 months and probably about 6 to 7 billion rand later before we are where we are. Now, listening to my colleagues earlier today, I hear that percentages of a 95% collection, 99%, and we seem to get very excited about that. But it's wrong. It means you're only collecting that percentage of what you're currently billing. You're forgetting that we need to recover about 103 to 105% so we can start working down that 34 billion. So if we're only at 95%, which is what you need to balance the budget, every month you've got another 5% that you add to the 34 billion. So we mustn't get too excited about that. If we're recovering in the region of 103 to 105, as we did about 5 years ago, then we can get a little bit more excited, but not yet. I'm looking at a few things here, and you look and you think to yourself, so the municipality has been doing water meter readings in a different department. And you then look at what the challenges are, and you see that now that it moves, we have to look at operating procedures. So what have they been doing all along? We have to look at furniture, tools, and trade. But what did they use before? We have to look at office accommodation. But what did they use before? We have to look at risk management. But what did they do before? Because it's not something new. We're just moving it from the one department to the other. And suddenly it looks like we have to reinvent the wheel. Isn't it just a reprioritization and just putting it under somebody else's care? Why is it that we have to redo the whole thing? Why is it that we're failing, and it's in the report, to read these meters so much so that we have to give somebody else revenue control? Because if we look at our employment programs, in there we've got supposedly community water meter readers. Well, quite honestly, I've never seen one. But I don't know why they are, but we do pay them every month, some EPWP or whatever the case may be. And then we also look at water losses. One of my colleagues just mentioned the water losses, and he used the word unidentified water losses. We are still running at above 55% in water losses for non-revenue water. And one would have to ask, while we're doing on the one side, we're now implementing a program to make sure that we read and hopefully charge people for what they're using, we have to also take into account that we are paying for other water where we are not receiving revenue and we're losing it. So now this is the time that I have to just take a little example from yesterday, because as you know, the road between the city and the Mamsantoti, the bridge washed away or broke yesterday. So we're now going to declare a republic, and you're going to have to go through a different route to come to us. Not really. But it did force me to take a different route, a route that I don't normally take. And these areas, if I call it, people will probably understand the route that I took, and then you will wonder why. Umlazi Q, Umlazi AA, Pilani Valley, Adams, Kwamakuta. For those who know the area will know which route I took to get around it. It's a very good route. But the negative part was, there was not once on that route that I did not see water running down the street. Not once. Not in all of that areas. There's water running uncontrollably down the streets, and these are not necessarily back roads. It's a main arterial route, and one would have to wonder, why is that not being reported? Why has it not been fixed? It's not something you have to look for. It is there. So if you live in that area, if you're the councillor for that area, if you've got friends in that area, how is it that that water is left to flow? And I can see it's not from today, because the grass is very green there. That is water leaks that's not been fixed. That is where the revenue is running through. You don't have to go look for it. It's there. Just drive down the road. If you follow that road today, and I ask you, Speaker, and anybody who's driving towards the Imbizo on Friday, and you have to go on a route that you have to follow, why don't you follow that route and then call me a liar and see what you see there? It is atrocious that the water is left there. This is non-revenue water, and we wonder where we're losing it. We're losing it right in front of our eyes. I think we should be a little bit more proactive and not just go and see where we can get the people who owe us water. And we're all for. If you've used, you must pay. But if you're not paying, you must also stop the loss. So let's work together to see if we can reduce that expenditure and that ever-growing bill, because once you keep an eye on what's going out, that's coming in will start balancing. We note this with concern. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Chole.
Thank you, Speaker. As this progress will also benefit us, both the consumers and us as the municipality. It will maximize our revenue collection, and also our customers will also benefit from the minimization of the running around that they are sometimes subjected to if maybe they are querying their accounts. So now they will just go to one place and get their answers. And we also note the tools of trades that the department will need in order to make the atmosphere conducive for the people, the staff that will be working in the revenue section. So as the ANC, we note this report.
Thank you very much to all of you, councillors. Are the recommendations noted? Next item, Dr. Mnguni.
Next item is item 3.6, budget statement report for the month and the quarter ending 30 September 2024. The report is here for noting. Committee recommends.
Thank you, Acting City Manager. Are the recommendations noted, councillors? Next item, Dr. Mnguni.
Next item is item 3.7, public tender awards of eThekwini Municipality for the month of 30 September 2024. It is here for noting. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Are the recommendations noted? Next item.
Next one is item 3.8, investment report for the month ending 30 September 2024. It's here for noting. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Are the recommendations noted, councillors? Next item, Dr. Mnguni.
Next one is item 3.9, quarterly report on withdrawals from municipal bank account in terms of the Municipal Finance Management Act. Is here for noting. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Are the recommendations noted, councillors? Next item, Dr.
Next one is item 3.10, reprioritization of revenue units, 2024-25 capital budget to accommodate a critical project. The report is here for approval. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Next item.
Next item is item 3.11, progress report for noting 1.5 billion borrowing for capital project. It is here for noting. Committee recommends.
Okay, I ask no shit. I get called. Page 75, item 3.11, 3 speakers. DA, Councillor McPherson, Freedom Front Plus, and Councillor Shays from the ANC. In that order, Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Speaker. Isn't it fun, the finance report takes up most of the time of these meetings, but then again, it's deserved that we do interrogate this rather than noting, as perhaps many in the House would like it to be. The 1.5 billion loan progress report, and I'm going to start at the end where it says the committee noted the process to be followed to secure the loan with the Democratic Alliance and the Freedom Front strongly, not just against, strongly against the process. Mr. Speaker, here's why we we remain strongly opposed to this 1.5 billion loan. I've made reference to the limited number, or to the limited pool of ratepayers that are out there. They're going to have to pick up the interest as well as the capital repayment on this 1.5 billion. But what we've systematically and consistently said as the Democratic Alliance, there should be no reason to borrow 1.5 billion. In fact, in a previous report, which I don't have in front of me, and if I remember it correctly, the intervention team that is assisting the city in many technical areas, specifically water, finance, and electricity, made the point, if I recall, Speaker, and I stand to correction if I've got it wrong, is that the interest that we earn on our investment no longer can sustain or is sufficient to cover a 1.5 billion loan. It further said, as a recommendation, that this city should not be taking any more loans. This is intervention from national and from others, which underpins what we've been saying for years. Stop borrowing money. Collect your debt. And why we say that this loan is avoidable is because had we implemented all the things that we've been saying for years, you wouldn't have an action plan which has to deal with water and electricity meters unread for long periods of time, underestimations, high bills as a result of undetected leaks, water loss insurance repudiating claims, and interestingly, the Sizikala centers have no idea of how much customers should be paying, force them to pay amounts that they shouldn't be paying. Now, had the interventions happened years ago, Speaker, our revenue wouldn't be sitting at would have be vastly improved, but we wouldn't be sitting at a debt of 34.6 billion. We'd have cash, much more cash available. So all that you've done, all that's been done here, is made the city's problem the ratepayers' problem. And that's not defendable. Collect the debt. It's the right thing to do. The solution is not about only just collecting the debt. It's about increasing revenue collection where you can. So I spoke about the unauthorized and illegal dwellings, where you can backdate and penalize, backdate rates and put them in a different category. Reduce wasteful expenditure. We still see month after month, report after report, wasteful and unauthorized expenditure. But here's the thing, and I'm going to leave this at maybe the second last point. We are not doing enough to drive local procurement within eThekwini. If we were just to enforce the Local Procurement Act and to bring back manufacturing to eThekwini, to bring back investors to produce, there's enough purchases in this city that can dramatically bring about increased manufacturing in eThekwini. Much more revenue, much more employment. And there are many other initiative ways. And that's why I said as Democratic Alliance, Speaker, and I mean this sincerely, and Mayor, the Democratic Alliance remain committed to be part of the solution. But when a wrong is wrong, we can't sit back and support a 1.5 billion rand loan that is completely and utterly unnecessary and unavoidable to fix a problem which can be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Freedom Front Plus.
Thank you, Speaker. This thing makes me mad. Besides that, this will cost the municipality 1 million rand per day on the interest for the next 15 years. 1 million per day on the interest alone for the next 15 years. That's beside the 1.5 billion loan that we took last year and another billion that we're going to take next year. This is whilst we have 9 billion rand in the bank in investments, our own money, but we're not using it. We want to go and loan money at a higher interest rate. The interest alone on this loan is 330 million, 1 million rand a day that we're wasting. Besides the 1.5 billion that we're going to spend this year and pay it off over 15 years, that works out to 4 million rand a day you can spend.
Speaker, time.
Councillor Shezi.
Asibingelele sibonge somlomo. Somlomo njengomasipala.
Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Komeni.
Speaker, good day to you and my colleagues. I have a concern with the kind of tone the councillors are using in this house. Hey, siyasaba ngathi bazoshaya manje.
Councillor Shezi, proceed.
Siyabonga somlomo. Somlomo siwumasipala weTheku ngaphansi komthetho u46 subsection 3A sivumelekile ukuthi siboleke imali uma sibona isidingo. Sikhona ke isidingo futhi lokho esikwenzile silandele yonke imqathango no National Treasurer wasivumela futhi ukuthi sikwenze lokho. So now iyaxaka ke uma ngabe kuukuthi sihlala nayo iDA kwi Finance Committee siwa discuss lawa matter mengabe sesifika la kube ngathi abakwazi lokho. Kodwa ke kufaneleke ngoba phela oza kwethu lababona abafuni lutho, abafuni isiboleke, abafuni futhi ukuphasisa ama budget. Into nje abaziyo ukugxeka kuphela. So kodwa ke thina sikwenze konke ukuthi siboleke le mali ngoba kunezidingo zokuthi umphakathi wakithi uyantula. Siyabonga somlomo.
Thank you very much, councillors. Recommendations on page 76. Are the recommendations noted, councillors?
Noted.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mnguni, next item.
Speaker,
Nyambose.
I've had problem with my mic here. I think my attention yako. I just didn't want to disturb councillors when you took the next item. That the 8 want to record our abstention on item 3.10.
Aw. Sedlulile nje.
Kahleni, kahleni. Councillor Mthethwa, what we are raising is in conflict with the rules and the order of proceedings.
I apologize. It's not my fault.
Unfortunately, your abstention won't be recorded in the minute of council. Dr. Mnguni?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The next item.
Record la Popelinda abstention yet.
Point of order.
Dr. Mnguni?
Next item is item 4. Reprioritization of the city's integrity and investigation unit 2024-25 capital budget for air conditioners and kitchen equipment. The report is here for approval. Committee recommends.
Page 7. Ungakhohlwa ke Mthethwa la number 1 ukukhuluma. Councillor Mthethwa, you are number 1. Councillor Lane, you are number 2. Those are the 2 speakers I have. Nyambos.
Thank you, Speaker. Sicela ukwenza amendment.
Okay.
Kodwa ke let me talk to it because it's only minor amendments on the overall amount that is being requested here.
Okay.
You would recall, Speaker, that in the Executive Committee we abstained on this item. That was based on the ambiguity around whether this was a new installation or the fixing of an existing air conditioner, and also the amount that was allocated to the microwave. Now, subsequent to that, I think the city manager did forward to all executive committee members a quotation that had been received. Now, if you look at the amount that is being requested here, the total amount is 130,000. But in terms of the quotation that has been forwarded to all of us, in fact, the new amounts based on the quotation are written here. Now, you would see that in terms of that amount, which one would assume that it includes escalations, contingencies, and all other issues that would have been affected in that quotation. Now, it leaves us with the amount of 114,103.17 cents. But in terms of the vote numbers, the amount still requested is still 130,000. We therefore want this amount based on the quotation to be pushed back to 15,896.83 cents, in line with the attached amount that is being presented as part of the quotation. That's the amendment that we want to request, Chairperson, so that we don't have this 15,896 being a surplus that no one knows where it is going.
Okay. Right, who second the amendments?
Councillor Liang.
Phela wazi ukukhomba ngentshebe la umuntu ephakamsele.
Ngishefile nje, Speaker.
May I have the second of the proposed amendment?
Second, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Can you please fill up the form? Councillors, Councillor Mthethwa, I've motivated and summarized the proposed amendment. He have referred you to the report and the figures and why he's suggesting. Is the proposed amendment agreed? Okay. The proposed amendment is not being supported by
Sorry,
others.
Somlom.
Councillor Kwala?
Sacela ukuthi uyisummarize ayisilahlekile.
Lahlekile?
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Mthethwa, so that for councillors to fully understand what we are trying, can you try to repeat and simplify it? I don't want to take a matter to a vote. Why other members, they don't understand what we are discussing?
Ngikhuluma ngesiZulu. I can always speak in Afrikaans. Imali eyayicelwa la ukureprioritizwa, ukuhlengahlengiswa, ekhuluma ngoku-installwa kwe-air conditioner entsha e-office lika-head wase-IU, nokuthengelwa kwabasebenzi i-microwave entsha, kwakuyisamba sika-130,000. Now, asikwesekanga-ke lokho thina njenge-DA ngoba kwakungacacile kahle ukuthi i-aircon entsha le noma ukufikswa kwendala, ngoba i-report yayikhuluma ngokufiksa i-aircon endala. Now, subsequent to that-ke, umphathi dolobha usithumelele sonke amalungu esigungu esiphezulu i-quotation ngoba wathi ufuna le process yonke ibe transparent. Now, i-quotation-ke ikhuluma nge-installation entsha ye-aircon. Now, the initial amount for that installation, kwakuyisamba sika 120,000. Bese kuthi ukuthengwa kwe-microwave entsha kuyisamba sika 10,000. Ngicabanga ukuthi ke sonke siyaqonda la ukuthi ngaphandle impela makuwukuthi wenza umlingo ayikho i-microwave ongayithenga ngo 10,000. Now ke esesisendeleke umphathi dolobha i-quotation ifike kuthini sifika namanani nama-price asehlengahlengisiwe, okusho ukuthi ukufakwa kwe-aircon entsha kusesi 120 seku-114,000 namanikinikana. Now i-aircon i-microwave ayisekho ku 10,000 isiwu cha ayinyuka yehlile isiwu 3000 nemadlana okwenza ukuthi mayisi yonke le mali siyasuka ke ku 130,000 isiza ku 114,103 rand. Now kodwa mubukela ngokwama vote number sahleli kulo 130,000 sithi ke ukuze kungabikho imali esizoyiphasisa la singayazi ukuthi yapi asistike kule quotation esinikiwe ngoba siyakholelwa ekuthenini ibisize nakho konke okungaba imixhantela okumele kukhokhelwe ukuze isuke kulo 130 izolingana nalo 140,000 okuzindleko ngqo based on quotation. Now mawenza njalo kwenza ukuthi umasipala ke usave imali e15,896 rand. Now asifuna ukuphathisa imali ezobe sinikeza amathuba ukuthi kube nemali nje osekungenzeka noma yini asistike kule ngoba isine quotation vele esemthethweni nanka amanani angapha ngehla uze singashiyi kulenga lo 15,000 besisho njalo ke mphephethe.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mthethwa, for that. Councillors, we have now given Councillor Skabasa.
Ngiyabonga Speaker. Bengisi Speaker angikho kumanani nani ayishoyo uKhansela uMthethwa, but uKhansela uMthethwa akangatsheli umphakathi ukuthi bekuzothenga imicrowave ayibese bala ne air conditioner as if le mali yonke e130 ibizothenga lokho kuphela akabale nezinye izinto kungabi sengazuthi ama officials avele enza lezi zinto zo2 kuphela la kukhona ne-installation up yezinye izinto zagesi ezizofakelwa ezinamanani abhaliwe agcina esenza lo ya 14,426 rand 63 cent. So akungabi sengazuthi babhale 130,000 for just i-microwave ne-air conditioner kuphela.
Okay, thank you. Is the proposed amendment supported, councillors?
No.
Okay, let me have the screen, please. Siyaqala ukuvota namhlanje. Ilanga lishona akaze sivote. Ngiyabona ukuthi ngone unikeze ukudla. Beniqhoba kahle kakhulu ekseni. Right. Secretariat, no movement. Let's close the doors. We are voting. Let's start with those who are in support of the proposed amendment as outlined by Councillor Mthethwa. Let me take those hands. Thank you very much. You can lower your hands. Those who are voting against, please raise your pot.
Ikhona microwave ka 10,000.
Enjani le? Sicela uyibone.
It's just that abayimbathenga ngamulas.
Saze 800 eShoprite.
It replicates your food on holodeck 4.
Sengaze ngihambe ngwalande wonke izitolo ngabekela nwabona ama microwave. Oversight. Walani nobekela.
Sicela ilephu.
Awota wehlengwa.
Siyabonga ngahlisa izandla. Those who abstain, please raise your pot. Those who abstain.
Iyaphi indlovu? Iyaphi indlovu? Abstain. Abstainer.
How you call abstain? Nawe kwala abstain.
Send right. Send right. Lungeni ngahlisa izandla. Send right. All right, those who are in support of the proposed amendment, the number is 61. Those who are against the proposed amendment, the number is 81. Those who abstain, the number is 17, which means the proposal have not been supported by the majority. Let's go back to the substantive item. Councillor Mthethwa.
Cha, ngoba nakho kuyabonakala ukuthi niyawufuna impela lo 15,000 oseceleni. Umuntu ubona ukuthi cha ningakwenza nodwa lokho thina sizukweseka ke lezi incomo ngoba kuyacaca ukuthi ikhona lento eniyifunayo. Ngiyabonga Speaker.
Thank you very much. Councillors, are the recommendations agreed?
Agreed.
No.
Next item. Yeah, let's record what the TA is saying, Secretariat. We record that, Councillor Mthethwa.
And the
Record
Freedom
that
Front
we are
Plus.
abstaining.
Next item. Come again?
We are abstaining.
Okay, that's fine. City Manager?
Ebifudumaza amatsha nge-microwave.
Next item is item 5. The resubmission of long-term lease items referred back by the Municipal Council on 30 September 2024. These items are coming for approval. The first one is proposed granting of rights by way of long-term lease to use, control or manage lease on portion 755 of ERF 1560 of lot 31 number 1560 327 Umhlanga Ross Drive. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mnguni. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
Agreed.
Thank you.
No. The TA is against.
TA is against. Thank you. Let's proceed.
And Freedom Front Plus.
Freedom Front Plus. Okay, it to be recorded. Dr. Mnguni.
Next one is 5.2, proposed granting of rights by way of long-term lease to use, control or manage lease on ERF 395 Savannah Park. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. On page 80, item 5.2, I've got speakers. Councillor S. Kavenda from the IFP, Councillor B. Mwengwe, ANC. Councillor Kavenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This project will have a positive impact on the area of Savannah Park and its residents. There will be a huge economical boost and employment will be increased. This development will be highly beneficial holistically as the IFP we support.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mwengwe.
Siyabonga Somlomo. We welcome the report as the ANC and we support the item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
No.
The TA is against.
TA is against. Record that. Next
Freedom
item.
Front Plus also against.
Freedom Front Plus against as well. Let's record that. Dr. Mnguni.
Next one is
Zabuyelana.
5.3, proposed granting of rights by way of a long-term lease to use, control or manage proposed lease of ERF 517 Mobeni. Committee recommends.
Page 81, item 5.3. Are the recommendations agreed?
TA against.
No.
Okay.
Freedom Front Plus against.
Okay. Next item, Dr. Mnguni.
Next item is item 5.4 on page 83, proposed granting of rights by way of long-term lease to use, control or manage lease on ERF 10306 Durban. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
No.
TA against.
And Freedom Front Plus.
And the Freedom Front Plus also against it.
Thank you. Dr. Mnguni.
The next item is item 5.5 on page 84. Proposed lease of portion 9 of ERF 136 Durban. Committee recommends.
5.5, page 84. Are the recommendation agreed?
No.
DA against?
DA against?
Freedom Front Plus against.
Thank you. Dr. Mnguni?
Next item is on page 85, item 5.6, proposed long-term lease of various sites, cellular base stations. Committee recommends.
2 speakers. Councillor Mchetwa, Democratic Alliance. Councillor Pim Ngwengwe, ANC. Only those 2 speakers. Nyambos?
Thank you, Speaker. Ake ngithi nje kafishane njengoba ubonile ukuthi kuwo wonke lama item siphikisanile nawo bese kwenza lokho ke sithatha umgomo iprinciple ethi siyakwamukela ukuthi uma ngabe umasipala unikezela ngokulizwa kwezakhiwo nempahla kamasipala or disposing of ama properties kamasipala kufanele kube khona an element of ukuthuthukiswa kwabantu ngokwezomnotho kodwa ke singakhambisani nakho nesingajabule ngakho ukuthi ngesikhathi uhulumeni nomasipala benikezela ngokuthuthukiswa kwezomnotho bese kuba khona ukuhlaluhlalula nokucalucalula nokubandlulula ngokobuhlanga ekwenzeni njalo siyakholela ekutheni umasipala mangabe dispose of ama assets noma unikezela ngezakhiwo ziqashwe kufanele lokho kwenzele umasipala amathuba omnotho generate income for umasipala and make sure ukuthi indawo enjengalapha eBeachfront mongabheka lapha eBeachfront kunendawo eziningi ufuza bezenzela umkhandlu imali zifake zithuthukise ezokuvakasha etourism kodwa ezivacant ngesizathu sokuthi sihambisa phambili ubuhlanga singenzi ukuthi senze esikwenzayo based ekuthenini akube nebalance between empowerment and making sure that we enhance tourism and economic development ngaleso zathu ke asihambisani nomgomo olandelayo njengamanje sithi abantu abanikezwe amathuba ngokulinganayo regardless of ama races abo uqinisekisa ukuthi si generate income njengomasipala ngoba kuyaqonda nje ukuthi umasipala uyehluleka kakhulu ukuba ugenerate inzuzo ngakho ke ithuba leli lokuthi umasipala ugenerate inzuzo kodwa maqhubeka kanje kuzokwenza ukuthi kunokuba umasipala usimame kwezomnotho usimame kwezokuvakasha kube ukuthi uyafatalala leso zathu ke senza ukuthi onke lama item singawa support ngoba sicabanga ukuthi kufanele kuyele ku drawing board ukuze amathuba avuleleleke kubo bonke abantu baseThekwini siyabonga.
Thank you. Cousin Mngwengwe.
Siyabonga Somlomo. Asithuki ukuthi ukhansela umthetho njengoba thina naye safunda siphatha islate usafisa namhlanje ukubona abantu abamnyama bengathuthuki ngokwe communication engafisa ukubona abantu abahlala eMlazi eNtuzuma kamakhutha nabo bekwazi ukuba ne-access kwi-internet.
Order.
Point of order.
Akasho ukuthi babefunda ubuntu botho angathi sikhula ngagcine lapho. Isizulu asitolikwa.
Yazi Councillor Gwala. Councillor Gwala. Yabona during lunchtime most councillors were coming to me to say, Speaker, the meeting is going very well. Gwala is so disciplined. Please talk to him to maintain that order. I didn't promise ama council no Gwala namhlanje sine arrangement uthi hayi siyaqho bengazi uzophunyuka esandleni. Thanks, Professor Mngwengwe.
No, Somlomo, so as the ANC, we welcome the report. And again, abantu abafisa ukuba ingxenye yokuthi bafake ama high mask ukuze sikwazi ukuba connected, it will be open to public. Ukwezi sinathi sikwazi ukuthi si comply noma sibe ingxenye yabantu abakwazi ukusebenzisa ubuxhakaxhaka ukwazi ukuxhumana nabanye abantu bakwezinye ingqanzo. Siyamukela Samlo, siyabonga.
Thank you very much. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed? Next item. No. No, okay, recorded. City Manager?
DA against.
DA against, okay.
Okay, the next item is on page 86, item 6, determination of upper limits of salaries, allowances, and benefit of different members of municipal council for 2023-24 financial year. It is here for approval. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, councillors. Are the recommendation agreed?
No. DA against.
Right. Let's record those who are saying no. Next item, City Manager.
Next item is item number 8 on page 89. A request for council to support the National African Federated Chamber of Commerce, NAFCOC, 60th anniversary partnership. It is here for approval. Committee recommends.
Okay, thank you. We are on page 89, eh?
Yes, yes.
Item 8, yes, there are speakers, 2 speakers. Councillor Mtetwa, DA, Councillor from the Freedom Front Plus. Those 2 speakers. Nyambose? Page 89, item 8.
Ebesifuna ukucorrecta la the speaker, as you might see, ukuthi the last item, the previous item was item 6, and you then have no item 7, and then it jumps to item 8. Which then means ukuthi mawususuka lapho ke kuyale kuzofanele ke numbers ama items zi correct. Ngoba simbona item 7, item 6 kodwa mase kuzoba ngaphansi zothi item 7 point something.
On page 82, 87, we have 7.1 instead of item 7. Okay, okay. That correction is noted, Councillor Mtetwa.
For item 7.
No, I'm saying instead of having 7.1, we should have item 7 first. There's no item 7.
That's correct.
I'm supporting what you're saying.
I know.
Yeah, that will be corrected. The Secretary, please note that. Next item, Dr. Mgun.
Cha, asikavote item 8. Bengizokhuluma kodwa angisezokhuluma ngizosho ukuthi siya abstain.
Okay, let me check the speaker from the Freedom Front Place first before we vote.
He is covered.
Yes, you can speak.
Thank you, Speaker.
Are you covered?
Job creation is key as 60% of the youth are unemployed. The time is coming when they will rise up. Economic growth can prevent this, but we need all hands on deck. The Mayor mentions in Executive Committee report intentions to promote inclusivity for all residents in eThekwini, regardless of their demographic background. Yet NAFCOC objective is to unite and develop small businesses, but black entrepreneurs in particular. We need all SMEs to grow, not just your apartheid agenda. Poverty knows no color. You're not in business for profit. Our business is service delivery. We have already taken the ratepayers' money. We need to supply service, not make money on the money that we take from them to run our business. Sounds the call to come together. As I interpret.
Time is up. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed?
The DA abstain.
DA abstain. Next item.
Next item is on page 90. It's now item 8. It was item 9. Service Delivery and Budget Implementation Plan for the quarter ended 30 September 2024. It is here for noting. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. There are speakers on this item. Councillor Anipen, you are number 1, with 3 minutes donated by Mosa, TA, and Alchama. TA, there are 2 speakers, Councillor Kison and Councillor Patrick. Yes, 3 minutes donated, Councillor Anipen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker,
Mr.
order, Speaker.
Yes, point of order.
Speaker, again, if councillors are not in council, can the minutes be donated?
No, we can't. We said.
So that's exactly what we're doing right now, Speaker.
Who's not here?
TA Al-Jama.
Yeah, it means there's only 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker,
Only 1
these
minute.
councillors were here in the morning. They gave it in writing.
No, they must be here. They must be here. The council is correct. When you donate minutes, you must be present in council. That's why I said, I received the email in the morning, but it doesn't mean that we have to leave. We have to be here. Let's proceed. 1 minute.
No, Speaker. Point of order, Speaker.
Point of order.
No, Speaker, with due respect, you are confirming that you receive an email from these councillors. Now, if they have an engagement prior to that, does it mean they must stay because they have donated minutes to the IFP? I don't think, Honourable Speaker, that we are fair on that one. Please proceed with 3 minutes that has been donated, and you are confirming to council that you have received an email. Thank you.
I do confirm that we receive the email from the parties donating, but to donate and then you leave, that's what we are trying to clarify.
Speaker.
Order. Let's not order, councillors. Order. I hear order. I hear your argument. But when you donate minutes, then you leave the meeting. It's not fair to council. Not to the IFP, but when you donate a minute. That's what I'm trying to correct.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker,
I will take all hands.
if ungakhumbula, Speaker, in our last meeting, I've raised this issue.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Speaker, wavumela ukuthi iqhubeke i-council without those councillors' presence. So bengicela ukuthi Speaker aqhubeka maintain ayivumele na i-IFP njoba ayabavumelile nabanye on the last meeting.
Last meeting, we allowed them to
Yes,
to donate while they were not part of the meeting.
Yes,
okay.
Speaker.
Okay. Councillor
Speaker, I
Said?
think it's important that we set a precedent.
Okay.
Because if we allow it and we allow it to continue, then in the next meeting, even when councillors aren't even part of council when we start, can they donate or can they not donate? I think we need clarity on that so that we don't set a precedent and then move forward and then we have arguments about the same thing. Thanks,
Okay,
Speaker.
thank you. I'm being persuaded, if happened before, we will allow Councillor Alepen to speak while my office and the team will look at that. The next council meeting, council will be properly guided on how to handle that matter. Councillor Alepen, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's quite hilarious that people who don't speak want to prevent others from speaking. The SDPIP,
point of
Mr.
order,
Speaker,
Speaker.
is
Point of
and
order, Speaker.
KPI
Point of order.
scoring is noted but very
Point of
concerning.
order.
Speaker, I think the IFP shouldn't take this as personal but procedural. And some of us choose not to speak so that we don't grandstand and waste.
Speaker. Because you don't know what to say.
Thank you, Speaker.
Because you don't know what are you going to say. That's all.
Order.
The councillor is out of order.
No, Councillor Jai Jai, no, you're out of order yourself.
But he's also out of order.
Councillor Said, what you are raising is not a point of order. You are out of order.
Thank you,
But
Speaker.
Councillor Jai Jai is not for you to address your fellow councillors. Stop what you're doing. Councillor Anipen, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ningarani Councillor Ngushugela. Councillor Anipen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the SDBIP and the KPI scoring is noted, but is very concerning. When one looks at the reasons for the performance and the measures to improve 3A trading services, one is concerned particularly by the first table that's on the report on page 91, which deals with electricity, solid waste, water and sanitation. It's critical, these are critical issues or services that directly relate to service delivery and impact on ratepayers. Now, the reasons that are advanced in that table on page 91 indicate for electricity in particular that there was a shortage of poles and shortage of meters. Now, that excuse, if we can call it that, is juvenile to say the least. If officials who are advancing these reasons expect that as a council or as ratepayers we ought to take them seriously, then they've got to come up with something more substantial rather than missing or the lack of poles and the lack of meters. It is critical, Mr. Speaker, that officials come up with reasonable answers for this, because these type of responses smack of poor planning and bad management. It's reported, Mr. Speaker, that the acting head of electricity appeared before a committee indicating that he did not know what the difference between Suprema and RMS is. And now that is, I mean, for a senior official, that it's very concerning. So where performance is measured, Mr. Speaker, it's important that we look at what are the reasons that there are these challenges and how we can address them. Shortage of poles and so forth is really, like I said, juvenile. Solid waste, Mr. Speaker, we're constantly investing in this unit, and I think that we've got to make sure that we get value for money here. Where we talk about external recyclers not giving us statistics and so forth, I think again that it is an administrative shortcoming, and certainly officials, we don't expect senior managers and so forth to do that, but certainly that can be done from an administrative point of view. Water and sanitation, incorrect interpretation of Circular 88, I mean again, this is administrative. Why are we not getting officials to go through these reports and give us correct information? Their misinterpretation of a circular is really, like I said earlier, a juvenile excuse. The IFP will note this report and its recommendations, but really I think as the IFP we want to see some seriousness about these type of reports, because the SDBIP is a crucial part of ensuring that there is proper services to ratepayers, and if we expect ratepayers to pay for the services, then certainly we must take them seriously and provide the services. The IFP notes this report, and we do so with great concern. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Speaker.
TA.
Speaker.
Councillor Mpemba.
Just before ngizokhuluma manje ngaphuma, I forfeit that after leaving. Nento ama-minute ke inini ye-future siyenze kanjalo ngoba engqina ukuphazamisa i-DA ngoba we are not going to allow people to leave
No,
meetings.
Councillor Ntuli, out of order. We are out of order.
Great out of order.
Already we have made a ruling on the matter that we have allowed Councillor Anepen to speak because we were persuaded by the argument by Councillor Kubega. But my office will look at that and come back with the report in the next council meeting. That's how the matter has been concluded. DA?
Speaker, and I
Thank you, Speaker. This report claims a 73, just over 73% achievement on key performance indicators, and it celebrates 100% success rate areas such as good governance, responsive local government, and fostering a vibrant, creative city. Yet how can we claim full marks in government and responsiveness when our core trading services, water, electricity, waste and housings have reached alarming lows, with achievements of only 52% and 43% in critical quality of life indicators. This disconnect actually raises questions. How are we able to rate ourselves in good governance and responsiveness when in reality our residents continue to experience basic service deliveries daily? If governance and responsiveness KPIs reflect such a high success rate, we should see a more direct impact on ground level service delivery. Instead, our residents living with ongoing leaks, persistent water cuts, frequent power outages, inconsistent waste collection, and stalled housing projects. Perhaps the root issue lies in the setting of the KPIs, and we have to ask ourselves if they are not set too low, which then makes it easily achievable while overlooking the real challenges that face our departments. Or are these KPIs too focused on administrative checklists instead of addressing the real needs of the community? This approach does not serve our residents who depend on us to make meaningful standards, not just statistical ones. A KPI should measure actual impact and improvement in daily life and not merely serve as a metric for self-congratulation. Water and sanitation has failed to keep water loss below 50%, and we now have water cut rollouts that have left many without reliable access to basic necessity. This is a failure of both governance and responsiveness. Our residents do not care about KPI achievements if they can't get clean water. And yet in the report, Water and Sanitation excuse the shortfall by citing it a misinterpretation of Circular 88. This circular provides information on indicators, reporting, and planning, and this response reflects the department's leadership failure in understanding their own responsibilities and is not responsive governance. The rules are clear, and understanding of basic directives cannot hinge on mid-year corrections. We are dealing with the lives of people and not just numbers on a spreadsheet. Such misinterpretation raises questions not only about the attention and expertise brought in the management of this department, but the seriousness it applies to the fact that it is a dismally performing department. The excuse of misinterpretation of the circular is a slap in the face to the residents who have to face water shortages and lack of sanitation. Human Settlements, for its part, records vehicle breakdowns, bad weather, and contract delays. How is this possible when we recently saw a glowing report from Fleet Management telling us the turnaround time for repairs is swift and vehicle availability is above 90%? There's a clear disconnect in reports, and we must ask ourselves, narratives, are they selectively crafted to excuse inaction? The Electricity Department notes missed targets on shortage of material and solid waste, attributes it to its own failures to a lack of statistics from external recyclers. None of these excuses align with the principles of accountability and responsiveness that we claim to achieve. If our departments are not effectively delivering on core services, we cannot claim success in governance. Speaker, if this KPIs for good governance, responsive local government, and city vibrancy were truly reflecting the reality on the ground, we would see a different report. A genuinely responsive city cannot allow its residents to go without water, power, or clean streets. If we are rating ourselves highly in these areas, then we must reevaluate the standards we are using. Are these KPIs effectively challenging us to meet residents' needs, or are they merely an exercise in appearance? This council must hold itself to high standards, and our residents deserve real change, not flattering numbers on a report. We must ensure that our KPI targets reflect true accountability, transparency, and service deliveries that our communities can truly feel. Only then can we claim genuine success in good governance and in delivering quality of life for our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Putseth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The long and short of it is that the SDPRP targets do not translate to what is on the ground. Some targets look impressive on paper, and this would be argued by many residents. Councillors hear and deal with issues on a daily basis and complaints of poor performance from the city. The IDP goal outcomes are not being achieved. It seems that our top officials have not studied goals or protected the outcomes of the RDP very well. Our environment, our health are being hindered by constant air, river and beach pollution. This hurts our economy, growth and tourism due to damaged infrastructure such as roads, sewage pipes, etc. Durban is not the favorite place to visit anymore and a challenge to live in. The DA notes this report with concern. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Nkosi.
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Speaker. I just wanted to say those who have negative minds about our seat will always conclude in the negative manner.
Councillor Nkosi, you're out of order.
No, I wanted
councillors
to correct
at the-
something here.
Resolution noted.
Noted.
Thank you. We are now going to
Uzoqhubeka nje Nkosi ube usihlalo noma ungashongo lokho.
order. We will now invite His Worship to table the second report of the Executive Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Sengidlumzile kabab Mayor, I'm just joking.
Uqale ekuseni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to present the second supplementary agenda. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. I will now invite the Acting City Manager, Dr. Mngoni, to present the item.
Thank you, Babu Speaker. The first item on the third report of the Executive Committee is item 1.1, request for approval of the draft revised eThekwini Municipality Staff Establishment.
Speaker.
Councillor Ntuli. Chief Whip.
Siyabonga Somlomo. ANC bicela i-caucus 10 minutes.
Hey, tell me to mkula call. Let me tell you the dilemma I'm in. Before I will grant you time. I'm in a dilemma because we still have many items for in-committee meeting that have to be considered. We still have another executive committee report to be considered. I want to grant you 8 minutes instead of 10, so that we don't affect other programs later in the evening, of which
5 minutes.
most of you are aware of. Can I grant you 8 minutes?
5 minutes.
We cover all the issues. 8 minutes granted.
Avule sichitheni letho.